Hello and welcome to this is a start from scratch with a bit of a difference, a bit of a twist. I've got 206,957 and to date I have just sold all my placeables that I had on Field 34. I invested to begin with in solar panels, and I mean I went in a big way. I have just literally sold that earlier today because I'm wanting to move. Literally, so yeah, you can see there's no sort of cheating being going on. I can't say I've done absolutely nothing. I have done one fertilizer contract, and I thought, let's make this into a let's play because I'd like a rerun of Haut Beyleron based upon what I've learned of FS22 in the few weeks since I started. So it is on hard economy. Seasonal growth, 1 day months. I actually quite like that. I've got everything on, including fieldstone. Fuel usages are normal, and the one thing I've done is slow dirt, but to be honest it makes very little difference. My tractors will still get mucky. So all of the AI stuff is all off. Everything is on tough. Okay, now I did start with 300,000. I say I invested in electricity, and this is where we stand now to date. I am about to move. I've sold. I had one shed. I did have a you can see the remnants of the things that I did have and sold. I had a multi-fruit buying there. I had a solar panel, a big one. Now that actually does clear itself clearly. About there, funnily enough. I think that's... that was the wind generator. I had one wind generator and I had one solar panel, which appears to have not left any evidence. I had a compact storage here, and I had a contract with the cellular people for a cell tower on my field. I also had one shed, which I have subsequently sold at a huge loss. Everything I've sold, but I want to put up roots and I want to move. Okay, this is the remnants of where the shed was. Okay, so I want to move, and I'm just including this in my moving, and to say that it has been no cheating going on here at all. Literally, it is just as I said. I've invested in electrics, and it's on hard economy, so what I get from that isn't what you'd get if you were on easy or normal, should we just say that. Also, one other thing about this let's play, I've insisted with it being start from scratch. I wish to, you will see I've got rather a menagerie of equipment. Every single piece of my equipment is second hand. That took some doing and some time to actually achieve that, but I want this to be a true start from scratch, very similar to what I would have done in FS19, but obviously I've had to use game mechanics to make that happen. I have got a harvester that is not necessarily, yes, I believe it's a class harvester, but if you look very closely at the header, it's actually not the class header. But it does actually, yes, it does almost blend with the, I think it might actually be usable. I would say the Dominator could probably use that. So yes, it was every single bit of my equipment. I just want to show that my first video is always what I call the rules of engagement. I just wish to go through everything very briefly, just so you can see that's 122 months, 121 months. That one's 99 months, 96 months. 69 months, 91 months, 98, 96, 80, 22, 120, 38, 66, oh, I didn't show the other one, 115, that's very old, 87 months, and 130 months. So yes, it did take me a while to get everything. I still have not managed to get all of the pieces of equipment that you should have to start a let's play. Nevertheless, I've started this on exactly the same months. The months have rolled by, and I have got us to August. I wish this to be... It's not contrived. This is a story based how we've got to where we've got to, because I didn't really want to start with the same old limited amount of fields on this, but I didn't want to cheat and I didn't want to add money in, so I've used placeables to actually bring my money up so that I'm starting from a position that is still Still using game mechanics without cheating, without government subsidy signs, or without me adding the F12 tool to just add 500,000 in. I didn't want that. This is story based, and yet I have used game mechanics to get here. There has been no skullduggery, no cheating, and I wanted all of my startup lineup to be second hand, which I've shown you, and that is the case. But I wanted a field that I actually would really like. And again, that is exactly what we're going to do. We have now got 306,605. And I would like field 35. So we are going to buy that and pretty much spend all of our money. So we've got 17,765. Now, in the same vein that I did always in FS19, I think we are actually facing the field, aren't we? Is this us or is it not? No, not quite. We are... Yeah, in fact, yeah, let's just use our brain. Let's actually grab one of our tractors. That might be... No, let's grab the fastest one, the Rex. The Magnum. We may as well take some of our stuff as well. Let's use the farm tracks and let's zoom in a little bit. I am literally skint again. There are a couple of mods I'd like, and I would like, always have said that passive income is a good idea in this game, and I do stand by that. I truly do think it is very, very necessary, especially when I start from scratch. I've stayed within the spirit of start from scratch, and we have got all second-hand equipment, so I think that it is quite a bolt-on set of mix and match equipment. I've been to every sale pretty much in France to actually acquire this equipment, and we have achieved our end. So now it's a matter of pitting ourselves and our one field against the rest of the world and against game mechanics. So I think I've tried. I've thought long and hard about this. Is it cheating? Is it not? But I thought, not really cheating. Cheating would be, and even then, most content creators will create their... I'm trying to think how we do their Let's Play. It's done by design, and yet I've still tried to stay within the game rules without sort of cheating, or I've just used placeables whilst I was waiting. I bought one field, the field that I've shown you, and obviously bought... what a beautiful field. Yeah, I bought this field because obviously it's fairly central. This is by design, and I'm going to see if my design actually helps or hinders. I think by the look of it, we need to get some excavators in and level this end, because I would like this to be our farmyard. So I've got very little money now, which I'm glad. That's what I want to. I don't want there to be growth without us actually doing anything. So over the next session, I will grab, in fact I might do it now, I might talk and grab right now. It seems a sensible thing to me to do. So let's get shifting, little Rex. Yeah, this is going to be, I say, it's not, none of this is contrived in so much as it is all second hand, and you have obviously got absolutely no say over what you get or what drops. So yeah, it is what it is. There's still certain bits of equipment. Didn't get a rock picker, stone picker at all ever appear. Whoa, my bad. Say certain bits, you would have thought I would have got a planter or a seeder. I did actually get one and I missed it, which was silly of me. 6 metre, I could have bought that, and I thought twice about it, and I thought, no, I've still got some time before August for me to get that, and it never did. I should have got it. It was as simple as that. So really, this is the only means of planting something that we've got. This plants canola and grass and oilseed radish. That is it. So that is what we have got at present. Let's grab our... Let's tell the... you will have to enter it because he's parked at a weird angle. I'm going to get the AI to actually run him over to our field rather than me. Or actually, though, isn't that wise with him having a header? No, I think we'll do this ourselves. Yeah, I can talk while I'm driving. yeah, so I didn't want it to be contrived nor cheaty, but I did want to use game mechanics, and I did want to get to a certain position before I started the Let's Play. But without it being contrived, I wished it to be done by game mechanics and by no cheating, and there has been absolutely no cheating. I have repaired these, but every single piece. I haven't repaired everything, that is the other thing. So yeah, I've repaired most of the things you've seen so far that have been over at that field, but there are still a few items that have been left in front of the store that I haven't picked up yet that will need running across to the field and have not been repaired. So yes, obviously I'm going into traditional farming. I am literally going to plant and we are going to harvest, and I would like to go into productions. Oh, this has got stones on already, so wow, okay, interesting. I'm not saying I can't lease, but this is a start from scratch, so I'm not going to limit myself to such a point. I cannot do things. This did do one fertilising contract, but it is funny. The contract system does seem very much. I could have literally done contracts, and I thought, no, that's not where I want to go. I want to show this as a Let's Play. I want to see if there is any way. Have I improved since the beginning of this? Do I understand some of the game rules better than I did before? Of course, I have sort of given myself a better start, but I've also done so within the game rules by very carefully investing in solar powers and coming out of that market right now, where it has benefited me the most. Now I wish to throw it all in farming, and all we've got is the piece of land that we have and the equipment, all of it second hand, that we have to our name. I want to see, with that 17,765 euros, can we make it work on hard economy? Because we are on hard economy. That means prices are absolutely awful. The only way I can see out of this, I've got to work with the map, but I've got to work with what I've got. That is a 12-metre weeder stroke seeder that can plant canola. Yes, I could grass this. That is another option, and I did seriously consider that. So we have got. The only thing is, I am going to say, grass can be a bit boring to watch. We have got the harvester. I don't really. If I'm honest, I've done quite a few Let's Plays in FS19, and I nearly always started with grass, and it is. I love it, but this is a big field. Not so big that it would be, but it is big enough, to be honest. And I'm not sure that I can showcase. I am up for the challenge, don't get me wrong. I don't know that I can showcase and make this as interesting as I'd like it to be if we go just grass. But I'm not. Grass does bring in a lot. What are the prices? That's another thing I've always said. Study the map. What is good on the map? So let's have a look. What is advisable? So if we were doing canola, yeah, actually we are approaching the price. I think it's. Let's have a look. I'm sure it's November that's the height. No, December actually is the height. So we are approaching the most high points for canola. So it is actually, doesn't get much higher than that. I think I've sold it 660 something. So that at Marison is actually quite amazing. So that's all we can plant if we're going to go that route. If we do go the grass and we decided to go silage, 158. How many bales would we get, and what baling equipment have we got to date? Because if we're going to do that, I think I've only got mowers and windrowers and a bale loader and a front loader. I haven't actually got a proper baler. Of course, we could buy the cheap 30 grand one, or we could take a loan out, and if we chose that route. But you know, to be honest, I don't really want to be going. I'm not saying I will not take loans. We started having loans early on, that start from scratch starts with the loans, so it would almost be like going against the game start to say I cannot have loans. Yes, we could do that, we could choose that, but I just don't think I'm going to limit it. But I don't want to take loans, not truthfully. So I think, looking at all things, I think we're going to go traditional route. We have a harvester. The only bad thing is, I think the very first thing I'd like to do is to save up for one of my favourite modders bit of kit. Yeah, let's remember how to. Oh, I do apologise. I clicked on the Windows button. let's have a look at the silos, and I think we would be going for one of Missy B's, and I would probably go for the smallest one, 30 grand. So we haven't got enough money at present, but I would like to literally, I think that is very important for us to have a silo. So that's our first, I think, major improvements to the farm that we're going to go. We did have one on our old field, but that's all gone and all sold. So we're literally starting with a new cloth, just with a larger field, in what I class as quite a good position. And that was the main reason for me buying field 35. Was it is, in my opinion, the single most central. I know you could, I suppose you could have sort of thought 13. That's above though, and also is very, very much more expensive. A lot of these fields, it's like field 32. Now that looks, it's not a big field, but it's 569,000. 33 is not too bad, but again, that's actually dearer than what we've got, and yet on paper doesn't look that much bigger. The field's a bit bigger, I'll give it that. I did think of 37, but it's slightly less central. That was my first preference, because I actually do love being right near the shop, so it was either that or that, and I went for 35 because I thought it's slightly more central. I'm a stone throw away from town, a stone throw away from some of these. I'm fairly central, and I thought that was important. Takes me back to my geography teacher saying location, location, location. It is important, it is. I did favour field 42. That was my first choice. I thought that was a nice thing. It's got a little bit of land on to put a couple of sheds on, but it is in the most, apart from 48, right bottom section of the map, and I wanted it to be reasonably, I want the distances that I travel not to be, because this is quite a strewn out map. Having played Haut Beyleron already before on my first run through, my first Let's Play on day one, where I was learning the game, I want to see, have I learnt anything from what I've done so far, but also wanted a different start. I think I bought field 40 last time, the cheapest field on the map. 34 is just slightly dearer than that, and 17 is the other one, which again I like that one, but it's, again, location is high up. There's an awful lot of travelling down those windy roads to get back to civilization, so I like this. It's the single most central thing where the roads all lead. It's not too far away from the biogas if I wanted to do grass, not too far away from that if I wanted to use that as, in fact, yeah, that's just, you're right, that's well spotted, Mr. Smith. Yes, I can actually use that as my silo, bit cheekily, for a little while. So I don't suppose I do need to make my silo the very first purchase for the farm, if I'm clever. And that's, again, another thing. I am fairly central. I do like that. That was my thing. But so that one thing is the only reason I bought field 35 for. Location, location, location. Definitely. So, can we, with 17,765, and hopefully not taking a loan, can we make, is that enough for fertiliser and all that type of thing? Now there is, did do one placement, because I've got the Place Anywhere, or whatever its equivalent is called now. We have got the multi-fruits buying there, and I will be buying all of my fertiliser stroke everything from there. I probably will in time place one myself actually on the corner of the land, because again I'm thinking growth. If this is the centre, I probably would like to go out in a circle around me. Maybe not 32 with its price and the massive lake. I'm not sure we'll go for that, but yeah, 36 is a massive field, and we're talking some revenue, so we really need to motor if we're going to make that kind of money. Each one of those fields around us is massively expensive, so yeah, the type of growth I'm talking about is not easily achieved in FS22, and even more so on hard economy. So can we make it work on hard economy? My original Haut Beyleron I had on normal settings, so this is on steroids. It truly is. So yes, the settings are completely different, and it's very, very hard. I have done this on No Man's Land. I've done a hard economy, and I've also got one on Erlingrat on hard settings, because I love the challenge of this game, and that's what I'm setting myself, the challenge of, can we do this? Say I'm not being too stringent, because to be honest, hard economy is stringent. I don't think I have seen any other YouTuber to date do an FS22 hard economy yet, because it is an absolute backbreaker. It is. But I've started my No Man's Land. We're quite a few, 3 or 4 seasons in, and we are I've even got my own production, and we're making profits. It's tough. I've not had any workers on that particular Let's Play. We've got one very large field, and we're making profit. So I class that as my learning curve to get to where we are right now, and the equipment that we've got is limiting the steps that we can take initially. But we have enough. We have canola. We can plant canola with this beast until such time as we can either get. Now, I'm not, just because I have my lineup as secondhand is not meaning I will not ever buy new. I just wanted my starting lineup all to be in the same vein as I would have done this in FS19, which is nearly all of my equipment was always second hand, and obviously the sales are exactly the same. So yes, we've got some fairly decent equipment. So the small Zeta is, yeah, I tried it. Its front weight is not enough to make it cope with that. It's way too heavy for it. So yeah, this is going to probably do spraying tasks and very, very light duties. I wish it had got a front loader, but it's not. So yes, if there's any one thing I regret buying, it is the Zeta, but I'm sure it will come into its own. It's only 75 horsepower, but it will come into something. It just won't be our main fertilizer spreader. Now this, on the other hand, the Rex, I have had the Rex before. You stick a massive weight on it, and this little beast can actually do fertilizing very well, even though it's actually, I think we need to beef up the engine, but it is actually quite capable of actually doing some fairly hefty work. And then of course there is my trusty case, which is my favourite tractor. Let's just jump to it. My favourite starting tractor because of its versatility. Now this beast, I don't think I have upgraded it. I think it's actually stuck at its base, which is, let me have a look. Let's look in the, I think we are at its base. It's 155 horsepower. Now obviously the beauty of the case is that you can actually upgrade that beast to 200, and I can't remember if this one's the 76 one or 261. This is the Magnum. This one's capable of going up to 276, but I believe it then changes it into a Steyr if you do that. So I'd like to stick it on the case to go as high as I can without it switching over to the Steyr, in the interest of realism. But yes, this is a good all-rounder that will serve us for quite a while before we need to upgrade our tractor to something really meaty. But yeah, so we've got the beginnings, we've got 2 little tractors, 1 medium tractor that is capable of more than it is at present, but it's still not roses. It's not a bed of roses. We've got a big field, but we've got medium equipment. We've got the canola though, that makes our, I'll show you the horsepower requirement for that is 170 horsepower. So the case may just about manage that. It's nearly 160, and as we know, the horsepower requirements are, this is a fairly flat field, so I think we'll probably get away with it. But if I need to upgrade it, then we've got contracts to fall back on. Although, as I say, we seem to be stuck on cultivating and ploughing with it odd. I think there's a couple of fertilising contracts, so it looks to me like if we want the contract system to work, we need to work it. It does seem to be set up in that manner, which I think FS19 was not quite so stringent. There were some fertilising contracts if you didn't do the cultivating. So yeah, but nevertheless, we've got a big field and I'm wanting to be doing this ourselves. So direction is, that is our canvas and that is our equipment, and the rest is, can we make it on 17,765? Can we make a go of this? Because all we have is a blank canvas with absolutely no fertilisation, absolutely nothing planted, so it literally is a blank canvas. August, I believe, actually, funnily enough, I think this is, and this is not done by design. I wanted to start in August for one reason and one reason only, and that was the fact that that is the month that you start in normally on the game when you come in. So fortunately I can actually plant canola in August and September, and as I say, that isn't by design, it is by the look of the fact that we're in August. So if it had been July, we would have had to wait, or either that or we would have had to go with the planting grass option, because we can do that almost any time of the year. But I do think I do prefer the canola option. So yes, that's the way we're going to go. We will be doing contracts, and I will allow workers on the other Haut Beyleron, because at the very beginning worker prices were so expensive. I didn't ban them, but I very, very infrequently used them on my original one. But now that prices of workers have come down, I don't mind us using the contract system, and I don't mind us doing the odd cultivator one. If that's going to kickstart the contract system, I don't mind us doing that to bring in some money with our tractors. Well, I don't mind us borrowing items either. So yeah, we'll probably do a little bit of juggling, but the main thing I wish to concentrate on is our farm with the odd contract thrown in. So it's the growth of our farm on this lovely field in the centre of the map. Can we make it work? And that's where I'm going to leave this. This is just my, as I usually call them, my rules of engagement, and also the backstory on how we have got here to where we are, which I've shown you the evidence on 34 that we did have quite a lot of placeables and we now have none. I would like to build up again. Obviously our only asset is the field. We now have absolutely nothing. Yeah, nothing at all, not even a silo to actually call our name. No house. We will be using the sleep anywhere mods. In time I would like to put roots down. I would like to put a farmhouse down in time, or a caravan actually, for that matter. I'm not a snob. I don't really care about having the 20 grand. One of those will serve me down to the ground. Or I suppose in all honesty, there is another option. Although I did set about the fields, there is still the farmhouse on Start From Scratch, which I actually like that. If we bought field 38 for 148, we also have the advantage of not only grabbing that field, but we also get the farmhouse. So that's another option. That's still fairly close to where we are now. We're literally, if you look down that road there over that bridge, you can just about make out the farmhouse. I think that, if I point my little dot, that I think is the roof of the farmhouse, I think. So yes, that is an option, literally. So, but that is it, and that's me. I can waffle for England, so I'm going to shut up and literally say that's where we're going. Settings for times. So let's just recap everything. We've got 17,765 euros to our name. No silo, we've got all second-hand equipment, we've got a fighting chance, got a very slim avenue of what we can accomplish, and yet the window of opportunity is here. We can actually plant canola in this field. We haven't got a roller as yet, but there are the Cambridge rollers that are very reasonable, if I can remember to do it. I seem to, on my no man's land, seem to always manage to forget to roll and lose that bonus. But we've got stones turned on. That's also going to be a challenge, running up and down this massive field picking stones up. Yeah, so that is it. So I'm going to play the contract system. Let's just go through my head so that I'm making this clear. Loans are allowed, although I don't want to use a loan unless it's absolutely necessary. If there's a fantastic piece of sale equipment and we're 5 grand short, that's the kind of loan I'm not worried about taking. If we have no other option, we've run out of money totally, then again, not by lot. I don't want to be taking out 50,000 loans or 100,000 loans like other content creators can do. I want this to be us successfully navigating through FS22 by our own hands. So yes, I'm hoping to do I hope there's just enough for us to, even if we take a slight hit. Does this need ploughing? No. Now that is the one piece of good news. It is ploughed. Okay, fantastic. So that's good news. We don't need to plough, which is quite good. It has already got stones there though. Has it got a lot of stones? It doesn't look like an awful lot of stones. Yellow, light stones. So we have an option. We could actually, being as they're the light stones, we could actually grab a Cambridge roller and roll them in, which then would mean I want to play fairly, and I do want to play stones. In time I will we'll tackle that, and there's a mod that I'd love to bring into the game, but where we don't abuse it, where we only use the stone we get off our own fields to put in it, because it's a production, and we'll produce lime that gets sold. It's a fantastic production, but is prone to abuse. If you wish to buy tons and tons of stones, I could literally make us into 300,000 million, you know, we could have 300 grand in about 2 episodes if I went and allowed such an abuse of such a mod as that. It has that kind of ability, and I don't want that. That's not me. That's not us on hard economy combat in FS22 and winning. That is us using a mod to very cleverly win us the game, and that I don't class as winning. So yes, right. So loans if necessary. Leasing, I think, is absolutely necessary, because there are going to be times when there's no possible way that I can actually get ahead unless, like if we did have stones on and I needed to do it, I can't afford 52 grand for that, and then I'm not taking a loan out for a piece of equipment when I could lease it for 2,500. Do that, it's still coming out, we're still going to lose money through that lease, so it's swings and roundabouts. Of course, I don't want to lease. Where possible, I'm not going to lease. I'm going to try to use the equipment that we have got already to actually make ends meet. With us having this nice band of grass though, I may actually dabble in silage, so we might actually either we'll have to lease, because I can't even afford the 30,000 for the standard, or even to hire anything. So we need to earn money before we do anything else, or even dabble the contract system. So yeah, contracts again will allow workers. I have played Haut Beyleron, I say previously, where literally I did almost everything. I mean, of course, I'm not going to sit back now and all of a sudden let the workers do everything, but this is not that workers aren't allowed, which I have done in the past. Of course, we are tight at the minute, so I would imagine, if I'd got any sense, I'm not going to use workers very much on 17,765 euros. So I think that's everything covered. There'll be things that I think of during the Let's Play that obviously, or if anyone's got any questions or even suggestions, then please by all means be my guest. We haven't got a sprayer, that's another thing that we are short of, but we do have a weeder, so if we're clever, and this is something that does work, I didn't think it did until my no man's land. That's been cultivated, no, it's not been cultivated, has it? It's been ploughed, but it's not been cultivated. Now we have a shallow cultivator, so being as it's a shallow cultivator, we shouldn't throw up rocks. So we might. Oh, do you know? I'm not fussed about that, if I'm honest. It is something I was saying on my no man's land. To be honest, seedbed preparation. Mind you, we've got to roll it. So when you roll it, it does prepare the seedbed. Simple as. So yes, I think we'll probably do that. We'll roll those stones in presently that we've got there. Then we shall obviously have prepared the seedbed. Then we shall use that, and we shall plant canola. Then we shall fertilise it, because that cannot fertilise as well. So then we shall fertilise it, and then on the first growth stage, we'll fertilise it the second run. So yes, that's it, and that's where we're going to leave it. So if there's anything, I'm just trying to think. I know what I'm like. I'm terrible for waffling. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've missed. Loans, leasing, workers, starting money. Yeah, I've explained how we got here. It's not a story base, but I do like to have a believable backstory of literally, say, we invested in power, which is exactly what did happen. I do want placeables again. I did briefly mention that, but at present there's no way we can even put a single one. Maybe we can put the cell tower up, which is £1,000, which does bring in. That's the other thing. When it's got amounts on, I'll show you what I mean. When you've got production generators, that one says it's 648 a month, but it is adjusted by what settings you're on. We're on hard. I think, looking at how much I got from my things, it actually halves it. At its best, I never ever achieved more than 6,000 a month, bearing in mind I had one of those which should produce nearly £1,000, that which should produce, no sorry, didn't have one of those, and that, and that. That's supposed to be nearly 500. That's supposed to be nearly £1,000, and that's supposed to be nearly £9,000. So by my reckoning, that's £10,000, 10,500 a month. The most I had, and that was only in the summer, was 6,000 and odd. So to my way of thinking, that's about half. So it looks like that what you get, that's something I didn't realise until this Let's Play, until I was actually playing around with those, that I actually thought, I'm not getting the full amount. I did notice on No Man's Land, I think I called one mod because it didn't, and I think that's what's actually happening, is you actually get half of what it says on the tin, or 2/3, something very similar to that seems to be on hard economy. Now I know in FS19 it did exactly the same. You got the 3 different settings for the easy, normal and hard. So again, I think that's been followed, but I don't know the ratio, and it no longer says that on the actual mod itself. It just gives you one amount. So yeah, they may be amended in time. So I will have a maximum of 3 placeables, as in generators, no more than that. In FS19, in my early days, I think I used to have 7 solar panels, the smaller ones I might add, not the massive ones, which produced quite an astronomical amount. It was, if I'd have run through the days, which of course I didn't, on just that, if I'd have slept through an entire day on FS19, I think I'd have got about 15,000 a day, maybe even more. It was quite a lot with the 20 grand solar collectors. On hard it was a little bit less, but even so it was still quite a lot of money, definitely more than what I class them as seed money or worker sort of payments. They're not really to bring in, because again, if you've got 7 of those 93 grand solar panels bringing in about 3 grand each, that's 21,000 a day. To be honest, you can hang your farming hat up and like just live on the income. But where's the fun in that? That's what I say. I want to bring in seed and money to cover things, but nothing more than that. I don't want the mods or placeables to win, so we'll limit that. We're allowed a maximum of 3, and I'm not talking about going for 3 giant solar panels which are 93 grand each. Even so, it takes us ages to earn that type of money. But I don't want any mods, any single mod, to be winning this by us abusing any kind of mechanics like that. I may as well put government subsidy signs up and just say, look at what we've done in a day, we've got $1 million. Yeah, but you didn't earn it, and I want for us to earn it, so it's got to be done fairly, honestly, using game mechanics. I'm not a stranger of doing that, otherwise I wouldn't be where I'm standing now with this nice field. But I don't like cheating, and I don't want to be, again, cheating's a broad thing. The sign, government subsidy sign, is allowed, but I don't think that's fair if I just whisk 2.5 million up. Even if, I suppose, coming from FS19, I could have done what a lot of content creators have done. We had 3.5 million coming away from Lone Oak. I could have literally just tipped 3.5 million, or even said just half of it, and we could be starting now with a massive field and really good equipment. Although not on 1.75, but on 3.5 million I could buy a fantastic tractor, a fantastic plot of land, and we could have a really strong lineup. But I've not done that. I want this to be a true challenge, and I want this to be in the spirit that it would have been on FS19, where all my equipment, where I used to buy it with a second-hand equipment mod, it's as close to that as you can get. There are a few holes in my lineup. There's a few things I haven't got. No baler, no loading forage wagon, anything like that. So there's flaws. It's not perfect, and I'm glad it's not, because otherwise, what have we got to aim for? We've got some decent bits of equipment that'll help us, but everything is second-hand. So yeah, that is it. I'm going to shut up now. So I think we've covered all of the basics. Next, it is time to actually put these plans into work. My normal field time is, because we have single day months, if we've got a lot to do, I got caught out in No Man's Land a couple of times when you've got 1 month and you've got to seed, fertilise and do, especially on a large field like the No Man's Land field, it is almost a single square. It is that big. It takes an awful long time. We had obviously starting equipment, so it really is a challenge to be, and takes a long time to do. So yeah, and also you've got I want this to be interesting. so I'll shut up waffling, because yeah, all that remains to be seen is, can we make it meet? Can we make this go? Have I learnt anything from my original Let's Play? Because now we are playing by the big boys rules on hard economy. So yes, that is the challenge. Can we do this? I will show everything, any bloopers, any... I don't like... that's another thing I will mention. I don't like resetting vehicles. I do not like doing that unless it's absolutely necessary. If I have to, I will buy... he says, I'll buy a front loader. I haven't got a tractor at present that can run a front loader. So I would lease a telehandler, would be the way that I would do it, and we would try and fix whatever I can do. And in almost all of my Let's Plays, I have, through hook or crook, without super strength, managed to fix many situations without resetting a vehicle. I like the challenge of that. I don't like... You won't see me use super strength unless it was absolutely necessary. And no, do you know, to be honest, I can't remember the last time I did that. FS19, I did it a couple of times, a bit tongue-in-cheek, but do you know, I've not done it once in FS22, so no, we will not use super strength. It'd have to be an absolutely astronomical situation, or no, yeah, we won't do that. That'll be a rule. No super strength. I don't want to break that rule, so that's another rule. No super strength, no cheating like that, no resetting unless it's absolutely necessary and there's no possible way we can get out of a situation except by the use of super strength or resetting, and in which case I won't be using super strength, I'll be resetting. So that is pretty much it. I think we've covered all bases. So 17,765 and a limited arsenal of tools, a fairly decent set of tools though. It's not 3 meters, so the second hand has served as well on that. I mean, that beast is a 12 meter, so to seed with a 12 meter seeder is, in my opinion, quite a good thing, even if it is just canola. That was the other thing I was going to say. I don't mind if I go on to a ploughed surface, it doesn't bother me. Farmers have been doing this since the wheel dot, when there were only horses that would plough, and they would plant immediately in those furrows. So I don't get all bent out of shape if the game mechanics allow that, because obviously giants know that you can do that. It's only farmers who are getting finicky and want seed beds to be prepared. It makes no difference. You can do it on a ploughed state, and it makes no difference. The jury's out. Of course, there are going to be people who say, oh yes, there does, but farmers throughout history would argue with you, and they have been around a lot longer than mechanical equipment, and they did it that way for thousands of years, whereas we've only done mechanics and tractors for just over 100 years. So I suppose I have history backing up my words, whereas we have just 100 years odd. So anyway, let's not get into a slanging match. It's only an opinion, and my opinion has been known to be wrong. So I will hush my mouth, and I'm going to say thank you very much for listening. I hope you're going to carry on with this journey with me on Haut Beyleron. My second attempt at this, what I think is one of the most beautiful maps. That's why I've chosen this one. I've got my Elm Creek Let's Play, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. I really do love playing on that, but this is a very picturesque map with quite expensive field prices. That was the bit why I really did want a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit not quite the very, very limited, you must start in the right hand corner of the map type thing. I wanted to move a little bit, which is why I'm very glad that we have, through game mechanics, got to this position and got field 35. So will that matter? Will me moving to field 35 make a little bit of difference? Well, we shall see. So I'm literally going to say thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for now.